Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 8 of the RLH Season 5 Formula 1 Championship. Tonight you join us in Le Castellet, France, for, of course, the French Grand Prix, which does have a reformed pit entrance. And I'm just going to start the stream again. Yay! The sound is working, and we can finally get back to the qualifying. But yeah, it's just been a bit annoying on the technical side of things for me this evening. It's actually a second between King David and Rafa, I've just noticed. And, yeah, it's just been a bit of a shambles so far this evening. But anyway, hopefully we can get back into it with 7 minutes left. We can just ignore what happened. And the other thing, I've had to make a new account and everything. If you've seen the other stream, I don't even know. It just cut out for some reason. So I really don't know what was going on there. But we're going to get back into the actual session, the one that we came here to see this evening. Of course, the circuit de Paul Ricard, in my opinion, a very technical circuit. And it's actually quite good for Formula 1 cars. It tests their limits of top speed and downforce. The first and third sectors all quite technical when it comes to how fast you can take those corners. Of course, the drivers will not be wanting rain tonight. I'm not sure how it's looking for the race itself. But anyway, I think in the F3 race, Philip is trying to commentate by watching the stream. I don't know what's going on over there. I can't watch it because my Wi-Fi doing its usual thing, as Rob Forbes has left the session, leaving us with just 11 drivers, unfortunately. But hopefully he'll rejoin. Coming towards the line then. We're going to ride on board with him for this hot lap. He's heading up towards sector 1, or turn 1 even, at 206 miles an hour, heavy braking, left, then right. And then a bit of a squiggly section here on the run towards turn 3. Be careful of the curves, although they're quite low profile here. Head braking into turn 3, which goes straight into turn 4. Bit of acceleration, then braking, then through turn 5. It's all about the exit here. Don't get on the power too early, otherwise you're going to end up off the track, and you've got to lift off a bit through turn 6 even, and out of 7 you want to go full pelt down the Mistral straight, which heads into the turn 8 and 9 chicane, which can be a bit of a maze if you're not using racing line. And heavy braking again. You don't know where you're going to go. There you go, on the right then. On the exit there, it's a bit like one of the chicanes at Le Mans in my opinion. The French do love to have a really long straight with some chicanes. Then into turn 10, the 90-degree right-hander. It's flat out through here, although in the rain you might want to be a bit more worried. Then turn 11, very late apex. You take it early, then you're going to go and take a second apex there, before flat out again up the hill towards turn 12, where you're going to take another late apex, which heads into the windy turn 13, which is flat out before leading into the awkward turns 14 and 15. It's very hard to get this right. You've got to accelerate a bit, but try not to ruin the traction of your car. Then it's all about the exit of the final turn, turn number 15 there, before heading along the straight with a 130.8 there. Very good lap from Oppenheimer. And that's going to be a 130.8, and that puts him up into 3rd place. And I'm not going to be able to look at the comments this evening due to my Wi-Fi being my Wi-Fi, and we all know how that usually ends out. So I'll just have to blue screen you in the meantime. That's Rafa leaving his pit lane. It's not going too well. Yeah, I don't know where Leon is tonight. His esports teammate Rafa is here, but it doesn't look like that. Is the most annoying sound I've ever heard. And luckily we're not in the pit lane anymore, but here comes Rafa, his teammate. Yeah, I don't know where Leon is this evening. I've not really been in touch. I've had quite a hectic afternoon, to be honest, so I haven't really been able to keep on top of who's doing what when. There goes Ockham on an in-lap, and it shows you just how much not using ERS compared to using all of your ERS has an effect on your pace. There goes Foxy Dude into the pits. Of course, there is that reformed pit entrance. No one on the mediums so far. It looks like the softs and the hards are the tyres of choice. And about a second in pace between the softs and the hards, it looks like, looking at Rafa's and Midnight's times. If you take... Oh my god, that is the most annoying... I think you've got to agree with me, though. That is a horrible sound. But here comes Shimasi who's just on lap number 13. That was Jompa, who nearly went into the back of Bruma. But anyway, we'll go to Verstappen, who's in Sector 3 now, heading through turn 12, which leads on towards turn 13 in his papaya orange McLaren. Through turns 14 and 15, it's all about the exit onto this relatively long straight. Rob Forbes has rejoined the session, but with only 2 minutes to go, I don't think he's going to have time for an outlap. But that's an improvement of a second. So Verstappen the first on the mediums with a 1:31.1, just half a second faster than Rafa, which is quite interesting. It shows half a tenth of a second even faster than Rafa. And it does show the difference in driver's pace around this circuit. There's the yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. I'm not quite sure why that is. But it's gone green again. It is Spaghetti Chips, who is on an outlap. Midnight ahead of him, also on an outlap, as we're about to enter the final salvo of Foxy Dude isn't allowed near schools. Fair enough. I'm not surprised, even though he does actually go to school. Yeah, you know what? If you mean primary schools, then that is understandable. I can vouch for that. Sorry I have to blue screen you, but I risk, if I connect to my extender with my phone, I risk causing my whole internet to die. But VRT Midnight is just heading towards the right-hander there. Here comes King David. He might be able to even go for a second lap here. Hashtag Will Arnie there from Adam Plays. I'm looking forward to the race. But there's the yellow flags in Sector 3. And along the straight we go in towards turn 1, then green flags for 35 seconds to go before the checkered flag is waved for the qualifying session. Of course, 18 minutes this evening, and we will have a fair amount of laps later on. I don't think we're going to be having any rain, but don't quote me on that. And it looks like a bit deep there for the racing point. I think I said Force India early on, because that is incorrect. 15 seconds to go then. Out of turn 6 through turn 7 along the straight. What kind of speed are we going to get up to here with DRS, ERS? No slipstream though. 208 miles an hour. Can we get 210? Yes, we can. Just about though. That's the highest it's going to go. Oppenheimer hitting the checker flag. So Shimasi and Jompalainen. Shimasi on the medium tyres, and that's going to put him in 8th place. But that might all change if Sem and Bruno can improve. Rob Forbes is out of the session, but this is King David heading through turn 10 there towards turn 11. Look at this, already in turn 11 actually, up the hill towards turn 12, getting on the power a bit early. He's run wide, he's gone over the curves, but he's managed to keep it going forward, which is always ideal. And he's had a bit of oversteer on the exit. He's just eating those curves like there's no tomorrow. In towards turns 14 and 15 then. What kind of lap time can he set here? 1:25. He has 5 seconds to get to the line, and that went down by 2 seconds in the time it took me to set that, but across the line it's going to be a 1:31.0, and he's 2 tenths than he was. Here comes Rafa, but VRT Midnight is ahead of him, but Sem ahead of him. So up towards turn 12 then, what kind of lap time can Sem get? In fact, Sem's on an outlap, so I think he might have miscalculated that. But VRT Midnight sounds like, yeah, he's going slowly. Rafa, on the other hand, is also going slowly. So I think those drivers maybe miscalculated how long it took and might have had a repeat of... Yeah, I think we had a repeat of Italy there. The drivers... yeah, I think I saw them slowing each other down, and Rafa is out of the session. Is that on the pit lane entrance? I can't quite tell. But, yeah, I think we've had a bit of a repeat of Russia there. Although, he might have just retired, actually. But, yeah, not Russia. A repeat of bloody... What should we call it? My arm. Italy, that's the one. Where I think they tried to hold each other up a bit too much. And we obviously had the infamous result. Anyway... The top 6 separated by a second. They're all on mediums and softs. Only one driver starting on the hards this evening, and that will be Jompalainen. But that is the end of the qualifying session. It is looking very overcast in the background as I get 500 XP for who knows what reason. Who knows what reason. And you can see my absolutely excellent stats there. But the qualifying order is going to be VRT Midnight starting on pole. Next to him will be Spaghetti Chips. Then on row 2, it will be Rafa and Foxy Dude. Row 3 will be King David and Oppenheimer. And row 4, Sem and Verstappen. Row 5, Bruma and Shimasi. The man at the back will be Yompa starting on the hard tyres. So I suppose it has a bit of poetry to that. Everyone within 2 seconds of each other, so that's quite good. And that might provide for some interesting racing this evening. Of course, Rob Thorpe did not set a time. Did we see any incidents? Just invalidated laps, it looks like. Yeah, that's true. Oh my goodness, that was a bit of a close shave there. Nearly leaving the session. That would not have been good, I can assure you that. After what happened earlier on, I think leaving the session is the last thing we want to do. But are we going to see a repeat of Canada here? Of course, Canada was a French-speaking nation, but it is very overcast, and that might be setting the drivers' nerves a little on edge. I don't think they're going to like the look of that, especially after last week when it went dry to wet, back to dry again. This will be interesting to see how the drivers react if we do get hit with rain at some point during the race. And I must mention, just looking outside my window, it's quite a nice sunset this evening. I'm in the UK, so it depends on where you are in the world, I suppose, but if you can hear that, that is the sound of a water bladder, which is actually very useful. But anyway, we're going to go green flag on the formation lap. Oh, don't want to change that. We'll get all of our telemetry up. I don't think actually we need these bomb stuff actually. I think I should actually say a little more times just to make sure you're actually concentrating on how many times I'm saying actually. Actually, I think that's a bit of a stupid idea. But we're going to get started. 27 laps to go here. And there is the threat of rain in the air, and I think these soft tyres, that might have been why everyone went out at the end onto the, I can't remember if they went into the softs or not, but that might have been why they did go out on the softs if they were on the softs. They might have seen the rain was coming, but that might have Yompa shot himself in the foot there, but it all depends on if the rain is going to come, when it will come. Of course, the soft runners might have to make an extra pit stop if their tyres don't make it to that wet stage, or it's going to stay dry throughout the whole race and we're just going to get teased. Although I'm pretty sure the game likes to make it overcast if it's going to rain. But this is the man on pole position tonight, number 13, the Red Bull Honda Toro Rosso. And a couple more words if you want to throw those in there. Quite a long-winded name, but it's the light blue Formula 1 car leading the procession along the second part of the Mistral Straight into turn 10, gear 5, collecting that ERS. Here we go then, entering the final sector. This is what it all comes down to. Midnight is catching Rafa in the championships, I think. In fact, let me fact check that for you quickly. Actually, no. Rafa is the dude leading the championship, and he's just made a big gain on the Toro Rosso, although the Toro Rosso has more consistently increased points this season. Big jump there for Rafa over him. And in third, actually, Sem has made an improvement. He's jumped Foxy Dude over the last race, and I think Verstappen overtook Spaghetti Chips overtook Verstappen as well. So let's forget about that though, because we are about to get started here in France, the south of France to be precise. Let's get ready to race. Yellow flags, but that's not to worry about. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights held, and away we go almost immediately. It's a good start there for King David. He's going to move to the inside, actually. That's Oppenheimer, actually. But down the inside at the top goes Rafa on Midnight. Midnight's going to defend that position. Oppenheimer going down the inside of Foxy. There's a bit of carbon fibre chucked into the air there. As you can see in the background, there might have been a curb. As down the inside goes Verstappen on the Williams. Can he quite make it as Rob Thorpe is glitching all over the track? Verstappen trying to send it down the inside as we go through turn 6. Can he get past the Williams? No, he can't, but it looks like the Williams has managed to get past. No, he hasn't, as Verstappen overtakes Sem. Sem looks to have lost a bit of time there. Spaghetti Chips not quite over to overtake the Oppenheimer. as we head along the Mistral Straight for the first time this evening. Spaghetti Chips might be trying to have a look at Oppenheim now. He's going to move to the inside as we head into the chicane. Under braking, can he get the move? He's on the medium tyres. Oppenheim on the softs. They're side by side on the exit. Who can get the traction down quicker? It looks like it's absolutely evenly matched as they head towards turn 10 then. They are going to be side by side. Spaghetti Chips, it looks like he might be running at lower wings because he has absolutely pulled away as Verstappen has actually got his nose in here through turn 10. Didn't even notice him coming. And it's wide for the Renault driver because he's lost a position to Sem as well. It looks like... yeah, Sem's overtaken Oppenheim through turn 12, but through turns 13 and 14, that's actually turn 11. Through turn 13 then, Sem and Oppenheim are side by side. Can Oppenheim get it down the inside at turn 13? It looks like they're going to be side by side on the exit, and he's hit the back of the McLaren there, but I don't think it's going to be any damage. There's a fast lap there for Midnight with a 1:37.9 as they go side by side again with Oppenheim and Sem along the straight. It doesn't look like we're going to see any move there, but at the top we might do because it looks like Rafa ran a bit wide. Midnight is going to have to look to his inside mirror because there is Rafa going down the inside. Can he get the position? It looks like he can. They're side by side. The Ferrari's going to have the inside line for the next turn. Bit of a front right lockup, but it looks like Rafa has taken the lead of the race as Bruma gets a 3-second time penalty already for corner cutting. King David has also overtaken Foxy Dude on track, and they're side by side actually heading towards the Mistral chicane along the straight then. It looks like Foxy might be running slightly lower wings because he's got more speed in towards the next turn then. Turns 8 and 9. It looks like he's managed to defend that position only just though. Those low wings must definitely be helping him. We're going to go down to Yompa because he's right behind Shimasi. It looks like he might be able to get the switchback, move it down. Has he got the exit pace? I'm not quite sure though. In towards turn 10, he's going to take a look down the inside. It looks like he might be able to make this move. Under braking on the Haas. In fact, I don't even know if there is braking for turn 10 actually. But Spaghetti Chips is down the inside of King David through turn 11 up towards turn 12 now. Can he make a move on the Racing Point? It doesn't look like it. The pink car is going to defend for now, but there is a McLaren closing up behind this Williams, and that will be scaring the Spaghetti Chips a bit, I can assure you that. As Spag has run a bit wide. In fact, Verstappen using that curb to its full extent, trying to see how far he can go with these track limits. As Rafa gets a fast lap with a 1:35 dead. Some very good racing so far. Verstappen taking a bit of a peek down the inside of Spaghetti Chips. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get the move there though. As on the exit of turn 2, Spaghetti Chips is right up the chuff of King David. This is going to be interesting. Heading towards turn 3 then. I think Verstappen's still trying to find somewhere past this. Williams really roadblocking the track out of turn 5 through to turn 6. We've still got a bit of a train going on here, and it's King David leading it. Spaghetti Chips trying to get past, and it looks like Sem and Oppenheim have both caught up to this pack. And we're going to watch this unfold from Verstappen's perspective. It looks like he's had a bit of a poor exit on turn 7 there. Can't quite tell, but Spaghetti Chips is going to move to the outside of King David. Of course, DRS is now available, and down the inside goes Verstappen into turn 8. He's going to have to back off there, though. He's not quite close enough under braking to make the move. Sem is very close behind Verstappen as well. But Cohen is close, Oppenheim is close behind him. Of course, there's been a lot of talks about Cohen, but you wouldn't know about that. That's an RLH3 heading towards turn 10 then. Can Verstappen get anywhere past King David? I'm not quite sure. It looks like he's going to move to the inside. We'll watch this happen from Sem's perspective as we go through turn 11. He might be able to make a benefit here, although he's had a massive slide, and Sem has spun it at turn 11. There's yellow flags, and he's dropping all the way down the order like a stone through air as King David goes down the inside of Verstappen. Can he go and defend this position through turn 13? We go then. Verstappen has got that position done and dusted, although King David might be able to go for a switchback through turn 13. He's had to back off, even though he is on the soft tyres. Those will die very quickly around any track, really. They really do not have the life. They're very much qualifying tyres. Very interesting start to the race then. King David now looking to get back past Verstappen. It is not all lost for the Racing Point driver, although Spaghetti Chips has increased the gap to Verstappen by about a second. But at the top, Rafa and Midnight are relatively closely matched, and I do think we are going to see some rain this evening. It's hard to tell though, it is overcast, but we haven't seen any droplets of rain yet as far as I can tell. So we're going to keep watching this, but one thing to mention is Shimasi and Rob, no, they have just split up a bit more than they were a minute ago. Heading along the Mistral straight there, GR Brumer catching up to Oppenheim. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up quite enough though. On the exit then, we're going to get our telemetry up because that's always interesting when we ride on board with the Mercedes driver. Sorry about that. Lap 4 of 27 then. It's been a decent start for some drivers, especially Verstappen. He's made up 3 positions since the start of the Grand Prix, and Brumer's made up 1. He might be able to make that 2, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that by the end of this lap. Unfortunately, we do not have many drivers this evening though, only 12, but Rafa has set the fast up again with a 1:34.8, so that's an improvement by 1.5 tenths of a second. We'll be able to improve that even more. We're going to go down to Rob Forbin and Shimasi because they're side by side going along the straight. It looks like Rob Forbin's got it, but Shimasi might be able to try and get him down the inside into turn 1. I'm not quite sure because Brumer has just overtaken Oppenheim. And we just missed out on that move, but Oppenheim might be able to try and get back past Brumadinho somewhere. Down the inside, he's going to have a look, but he's not going to be able to get quite close enough through turn 4. Then he might be able to get the switch back because Brumer's a bit wider. Oppenheim is on the softer tyres, but that is not everything. Sem is catching up to Shimasi though after his earlier incident, and he's going to go down the inside of the Haas. Can he keep it there though? Through turn 6 towards turn 7. It looks like he's going to be able to get it. Has he got DRS as well? He's had a bit of a wiggle on the exit there though, so that must have been a bit of worrisome for him. Spaghetti Chips and Foxy Dude on the other hand are very, very close. Just 2.5 tenths of a second separating the two of them as we head towards turn 10. We're not going to see any move here, but we might be able to see a dive bomb from Spag into turn 11. That is where it's quite easy to make an overtake. You just got to be aware of contact because the drivers have really got the weight on the edge of the cars, and you can see them both run wide there. Similar to Parabolica, where you want to use as much of the track width as possible without actually extending the limits. It's still relatively sunny though, it's not properly dark, so we might just be left with these conditions. And that was a fat spike of lag there, and I think that might be my Wi-Fi. I'll have to look. No, we've got my favourite camera angle though, never mind. RLH Rafa improving yet again. And he is really storming off with this lead. He's already 2.5 seconds clear of BRT Midnight. And that gap's only going to get bigger as he zooms along the track. Spaghetti Chips will be trying to close up on Foxy Dude now, though. Just a half a second in between them as Brumer and King David have battles simultaneously with Yompa and Oppenheim heading through turns 4, 5 and 6 then. This little train is actually emerging here. We have to have a look at this. Out of turn 6 then, through turn 7, which will just be in a second. Got to be careful you don't run too wide because that blue surface, I'm told, is quite slippery, but I'm not quite sure how that all works. It's technology that is far too advanced for me to understand, to be fair. But Spag is so close behind Foxy Dude, and that might be a bit worrying for the Mercedes driver. Of course, they're both on the mediums, and that's a very aggressive swerve there from the Mercedes, trying to break that toe along the Mistral straight, but it's not going to be enough because Spaghetti Chips is closing up to the inside. That was dangerous from Foxy Dude. He's swerving all over the track. I'm not quite sure what he's thinking, but that cannot be justified. That was very risky indeed. I think that was a bit overly aggressive on the defence. Spag did have to back off there though. Fortunately, no contact was made, and I think they'll just let that be, but I think Foxy Dude is definitely going to have to watch himself as Midnight goes into the pits, and he's the first driver to do so. And Verstappen is actually closing up behind Spag as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on him because he's definitely part of the equation. In fact, Spag's out of DRS range, whereas Verstappen is going to have a look down the inside as he goes in towards turn 10. Turn 1 even. Can he get the overtake? In fact, he's got it before the braking zone's even begun, as Spag's nearly gone into the back. As Rafa's got a 3-second time penalty, Spag might be able to get Verstappen on the exit of turn 2. They're going to be side by side. But Verstappen has got the speed along the straight, and he's managed to defend from the Williams for now. Although I'm not sure how quickly Spag's going to let that one go. And I'm sure he's going to be wanting to catch up soon enough. Here we go then. Lap 7 of 27, just 20 laps to go. DRS is activated for the Williams as we head along the Mistral straight. Can he make an overtake? I don't think he's going to be able to close up quite enough. Can he look to the inside for turn 8? No, he can't. He's just a bit too far back. As Midnight and Oppenheim are the only two drivers to have pitted. Midnight lost 10 positions there from his decision to stop. Into turn then down the inside goes Spaghetti Chips. Has he got the move on Verstappen? They're going to be side by side through turn 11. It looks like the McLaren might be able to go for the switchback move here, although the Spag has blocked off the apex and he's managed to get that move done and dusted. This battle for third could rage for quite a while, although of course it is a battle for net fourth because they are a pit stop ahead of Midnight. Midnight has not made a pit stop is what I mean by that. And Spaghetti Chips, he's looking in his mirrors. You can see it full of this orange car. And he would be trying to track down Foxy Dude as well. Foxy Dude is just within DRS range of Spag. And Verstappen is just a few tenths off the back of Spag. Along the straight then, you gain about 0.3 of a second with DRS. So that's always quite interesting. But we'll have to have a look at Yompa because he's close behind Brumadinho. But also Rob Bob is close behind Sem. Here we go then along the straight. Can we see a move here from Yompa? It doesn't quite look like it. He's closing up massively though through turn 5 into turn 6. I don't think he's going to be able to get close enough though. And he's going to have to back off for that. And probably wait until later on. But King David has and Oppenheimer are actually side by side there through turns 1 and 2. Unfortunately, we just about missed out on that. But we'll go down to Yompa and Bruma because they're so close. Yompa has made the overtake as we go into the chicane then. Bit of oversteer for the car on the hards, Bruma on the mediums. But it looks like Bruma's going to lose a position. But I don't think he's going to lose it for that long because he's closing up yet again. He's going to look around the outside the turn 10. He might try and go for the switchback move. Yes, he does. Can he get the position, though? Down the inside into turn 11 we go. And the racing point has run wide. And that gives Bruma the opportunity he needs to get past and puts him up into 5th place. Number 66 of the Mercedes there. Rafa sets the fast lap with a 1:34.5. To rapturous applause from the crowd as we can see them in the background there. They've been enticed to quite an excellent Grand Prix so far and it might get better because Yompa is trying to get past Bruma. Bruma very defensively to the inside trying to break that toe but he's not quite managed it and this ding dong battle is going very well for us the spectators but Yompa is just not going to be able to get past and he's going to have to back off from Brumadinho then as we head through turns 4, 5 and 6. Yompa is still in 6th and Bruma is in 5th. Although they still might have another crack at getting the overtake because we've still got 2/3 of the Grand Prix to go. It is definitely far from over as we head along the Mistral straight then. Bruma still defensively to the inside but he's absolutely losing time. Yompa closing up like an Exocet missile as I use that one every time. And there's contact wheel to wheel there. Bruma's rear tyre hit the front of Yompa and Yompa had to back off again. I think Bruma squeezed the racing point a bit too much. A bit more than it was strictly speaking legal. But I think he's going to be able to get away with it because into turn 11 we go. It might be a switchback here from Yompa. Can he get the position off Bruma? I don't think so, but they both end in so that's becoming quite entertaining, I can bet. Yompa is running wide on the exit of turn 12 though, so that is not ideal for him to try and close up on Bruma. The dirty air will really not help through turn 13, but that's not stopping Yompa close up behind this Mercedes. Heading along the pit straight then. The only two drivers to have there are 3 drivers to have pitted: Midnight, King David, and Oppenheimer. I'm not actually sure how you pronounce that. Everything I've ever known has been questioned since I realised I've never been pronouncing the name Cone correctly. Even now I can't. I mean, someone said Coon, but I don't think I'll be allowed to say that on stream when I'm describing someone. So I'll probably have to stick with Cone. So is it Oppenheimer or Oppenheimer? Do let me know, mate. Otherwise, you never know. You might just get very angry at me. But here we go. Yompa still trying to get past Bruma. Can he get it as he moves to the inside, around the outside actually, through turn 9. He has finally got that position, although Brumadinho might try and get it back because they're still side by side on the exit. The switchback for the Mercedes has definitely worked out, and he's managed to get back up into that top spot, although they're side by side heading in towards turn 10. He's going to come out on top. It looks like Jompalainen round the outside, although into turn 11 we might see a move by the Mercedes. He's going to go down the inside as Jompa's run wide, but Jompa might go for the switchback move on the run up the hill towards turn 12. It looks like the Mercedes has got the position. Now Sem is going to be a bit of a danger to both of these drivers. He's closed up following his spin earlier at turn 11. And luckily he managed to stop the spin, completely ruining his race and not going off. That is one benefit about this track. The sheer amount of runoff means that mistakes are very forgiving compared to some tracks, as Sem and Rob Forbes have a little bit of a tussle. There you can see the redesign of the pit lane. It looks very awkward. Imagine having to drive that in real life. But Jompalainen is going to get past Brumadinho through turn 1. Bruma is still very close behind though. He might be able to try and get past him, but he's almost out of ERS. Whereas Jompa's still got about 30% of his battery remaining. And as I say that, Bruma goes all the way down to ERS mode 0. He's going to probably try and gather and maybe go for a push next lap, but that lockup is not going to help him. Seb, on the other hand, has 80% of his ERS remaining, and that coupled with DRS along the Mistral straight, you might be able to make a move here. Brumadinho's run a bit wide with the DRS activated then. This is going to be an absolute DRS train heading towards turn 8 then. Could we see a move from either of these drivers? The Alfa Romeo is going to move to the outside of the Mercedes. Heavy braking then. They're going to go 3 wide through the chicane. Bruma has come out on top, and Sem and Jompalainen are side by side. He's going to come out on top. It looks like the Alfa Romeo has got the speed. Although, watch this from Sem's perspective. Yeah, he just hasn't got the DRS, and that is not helping him. With the DRS to help him though, Sem is really going on a push. He might even be able to try and overtake Bruma through turn 11. It all depends on their line. It's very difficult to nail this turn just because it's downhill and a sweeping right-hander. But it looks like Bruma's going to be able to defend it for now. And Sem's had to back off a bit. And those top 4 all pit exactly the same time. Those mediums clearly can go 10 laps and probably not much longer, as so does Sem pit. Bruma going to stretch his tyres. He might go for an overcut here. And there you can see the pit lane from a higher angle, but never mind. You can't anymore. And that's going to put Bruma all the way up into first, although his tyres are 11 laps old. They are the tyres he started on. Just himself, Jompalainen and Sem have yet to pit, as well as Shimasi, I think. I don't think Shimasi has had a pit stop yet. But anyway, that puts Bruma into the lead, although I don't think that's the net lead if you take into consideration tyre changes. And it looks like the strat is going to be mediums to hards this evening, or hards to mediums, depending on what strategy you've chosen. Jompa was the only driver to start on the hards, so he'll definitely be going on to the mediums. Maybe go for a push for the fastest lap point at the end of the race, as there's yellow flags in sector 1, and I think that might be Sem. Has he made another mistake? Yes, he has. It's just not going well for the Alfa driver. He just can't nail it as Jompa gets it past Brumadinho. Unfortunately, missed out on that overtake. And that puts Jompa into the lead for now. Bruma will probably have to pit at the end of this lap, so it might not be beneficial for him to try and battle right now. He will have to think about his tyres and think about time, because it's all about pushing on that in-lap, trying to get as much speed as possible. And I think what happened with Sem was he just pushed a bit too hard in his outlap, didn't realise his hards had less grip than his mediums. Maybe a lot less grip than he was expecting, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, that's put him out into last place. But here comes Brumadinho. Is he going to pit? Yes, he is. There he goes into the pit lane. Heavy lockup, actually. Well, that doesn't really matter because he's about to take off those tyres anyway. Here is Verstappen closing up behind Spaghetti Chips. I'm going to have a quick sip of water. Here we go then. Lap 13 of 27, almost halfway through the race. In fact, we are pretty much halfway through the race. Verstappen is in 6th. He's closing up to 5th though. Will he be able to get that position and move himself up the order? He might even be able to fight for a podium here. I'm not entirely sure. Those top 3, Jompa, Rafa and Midnight. Jompa's still got a long way to go before he needs to pit. Obviously those tyres can go about 20 laps, which is what the drivers will be intending to go for. Of course, around the outside. Oh my goodness, Sem Verstappen even is blasting past Spaghetti Chips on the straight. He's got that overtake. Will he be able to hold on to it though is another question, because that Williams driver does not like to let things go. I can tell you that from experience. But anyway, if you do have any questions for the top 3, don't forget to let me know in the comments. I'm just going to make sure we're still broadcasting, because that'd be quite a shame if I'd done all of that without the broadcast going on, because it cut out earlier without me even realising. So, Opakanoam and Brumadinho, that is the closest battle on track from what I can tell. Opakanoam's going to be stretching those hards quite far. I think he started on the softs, Rafa getting a 133.9. So the strategy must have been, maybe the hards get very slow towards the end of their lifespan if you have to take them about 20 laps. That might be why some of the drivers elected to start on the mediums instead of the hards, or maybe they just don't think the hards can make it that far, or the softs and hard combination, because King David will be going to pit at some point. He's on the softs, and they don't really go much further than 6 laps around Le Castellet, or Circuit de Paul Ricard, I should say. But anyway, yeah, Opakanoam is close behind Brumadinho. I don't think he's going to be close enough, though. Also, I saw in the news earlier that Daniel Ricciardo he's said that he's going to stay with Renault, although he's had some frustrating events this and last season, over the seasons he's had with Renault team. He wants to stay with them and help them develop to get to the front of the field. I think that's his aim with the banana car team. But anyway, speaking of banana cars, here comes Opakanoam trying to go around the outside of Brumadinho. Might go for a switch back through turn 10. He's got the slipstream, hasn't got the DRS. Of course, he's got no DRS, but Yompa going into the pits. Very interesting. Okay, he thinks he can take those mediums 13 laps, so that's going to be a bit of a stretch. Unless he goes soft, that would be a rather interesting strategy. Let's see where he comes out then. Will he come out ahead of Opakanoam? He's going to go onto the medium, so he clearly thinks he can take those mediums 12 or 13 laps. So that's going to take a bit of tyre conservation for him, but nothing too great, I don't think. Opakanoam actually catching up to Brumadinho. That's like he got slingshotted by a planet through there. It's like gravity was dragging him along the surface. The gravity from Jupiter, and that's a bit of wheel spin there. Lots of oversteer for Opakanoam, but he's managed to salvage it. But he hasn't managed to salvage that time because he's lost nearly a second to Brumadinho after that little mishap there. So he won't be too chuffed about that, I don't think. That was a bit risky. Fortunately, he didn't crash because that would have been very bad. But Spaghetti Chips is really closing up behind Verstappen. There is just a quarter of a second exactly between them. Spaghetti Chips is catching very quickly. He's going to move to the inside for turn 10. It looks like he's got the position. Will the McLaren be able to catch up? I don't think that's very likely. And yeah, Verstappen is going to have to settle with 5th for now. I say settle with. He won't be happy with that, but he's going to have to stay in 6th for now anyway. But Opakanoam and Brumadinho, that battle, it was first Bruma to Yompa, but now it's Opakanoam to Bruma as we go up the hill towards turn 12 then. It looked like Opik went for the switchback move, but he just couldn't quite get it with the late apex. I don't think that wanted to work for him. Now the two Force Indias, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I keep saying that. I was about to say they're catching up to each other anyway, but there we go. There goes King David into the pits. I said those softs wouldn't really go much further, and there he is going into the pits. So he'll probably go into a set of mediums now. Yompa is in 6th. He's 11 seconds off Verstappen, so it's looking unlikely for a podium finish as we go side by side into turn 1 between Opik and Bruma. Bruma's still ahead. Bruma's doing some very good defensive work this evening. It's absolutely fantastic what he's managing to pull out of the box this evening. His racecraft has been very good, and I don't think he's caused any crashes, although we'll let the stewards see about that. Or the drivers that have been racing him, of course. I think they'll probably know a bit better than me if they've been having a little wheel-to-wheel with him. And yeah, I think those cars are just there to tease us as Verstappen and Spag have a tussle, and Spag loses the position to Verstappen, and that puts him up into 4th place, and we'll just get that ready to switch. And I think we're not gonna do that yet, and you can see me spamming that in the top right, just trying to see when it will happen. But Bruma is about to lose the position to Oppenheim as we head through turn 11. Down the inside goes the Renault. Can he get the position? They're side by side, but it looks like Brumadinho, maybe running slightly higher wings, just has a bit more downforce. Sorry about that little burp there. That was, pardon me. Definitely. But we'll go up to Foxy D and VRT Midnight. This is the 2nd place into turn 1. We go then down the inside. There goes the Mercedes on the Toro Rosso. Can Midnight get it back as we head towards turn 3? They're going to be side by side, and it looks like Midnight's managing to defend from the relentless Mercedes there. For now, we've got quite a few battles going on track, and this could give Verstappen and Spag the opportunity they need to catch up. The two Mercedes both having a little bit of ding-dong battles between themselves as Bruma manages to overtake Oppenheim again. In fact, God knows what's going on there. And Sems joined the party, and that's nearly made it 3 wide. Sems backed out there, though. Unfortunately, not to cause any collisions. But yeah, this is getting rather heated, actually, as Foxadida and VRT Midnight are very close along the Mistral Straight. We go the second part anyway, up towards turn 10. All the battles are unfolding now with 10 laps to go as we go through turn 10. Who's going to finish on the podiums? Let me know in the comments down below. Midnight, he's close behind Foxy Dude, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make any move. No, he's not. As we go through turn 13 then, Verstappen has gained half a second on this on Midnight since the start of that lap then, so that is really beneficial for himself and Spag. Oppenheim and Sem though, as we go through turn 11 there, up towards turn 12. This is rather interesting. In fact, let's watch this from Sem's POV, because that could provide us with what it's like for these couple of drivers right now. This must be a bit stressful. You don't want to crash at this point in the race. Unfortunately, we haven't actually had any crashes. I think we've only had a slight bit of damage, which was from what I believe was a Renault car. I think it was yellow carbon fibre, but I'm not entirely sure. But let's watch this as they go along the straight. The two back drivers have DRS. The DRS train is full in force. They've got ERS available as well. As round the outside goes Sem and Oppenheim. Oppenheim trying to get past Bruma. He might go for the switchback here. In fact, they both might go for the switchback. But Bruma just has the speed around the corners. Sem's going to send it down the inside into turn 4 on the Renault drive. They're going to be side by side through turn 5 towards turn 6 then. Who's going to come out on top? Down the inside again goes Sem. He just can't quite get the move. And that is Sem. It's still in 9th, but only just. He might be able to change that as we head along the Mistral Straight towards the chicane of turns 8 and 9. With DRS activated for both of them, closing up at an absolute rapid pace. Moving to the outside for turn 8, then they're going to be side by side. Could Sem try and make an overtake on Brumadinho? No, he can't. He's still side by side with the Renault driver of Oppenheim, though. On the exit of turn 9, who's going to come out on top? It looks like the Alfa Romeo driver is going to be just in front, but it all depends on wings, though. And yeah, Sem just had the better exit there, and he's had more speed than Oppenheim. Through turn 10 we go then, and it looks like Sem is up into 8th. Could he try and get himself up into 7th through turn 11? No, in fact, it looks like he's going to drop down to 9th because Oppenheim is trying to get it down the inside of Sem through there. Through turn 12 then, Oppenheim is going to have to back off there. He just isn't close enough to make that move. Right then, having a look at those timings, it is still rather close. So, nearly into the back of the Alfa Romeo goes Oppenheim. That was nail-bitingly close between them. That is, you don't want to get much closer than that, I can tell you from experience. In fact, when I do get closer than that, it usually ends up in me crashing. But Sem's going to move to the outside of Brumadinho, and he's got the position. Bruma's cut the corner a bit there. I don't know quite how he's managed to get away with that, but he only just about managed it. Now, Oppenheim will be trying to get back past Bruma. Bit of a lock up there into turn 6, I want to say, for Bruma. So that's not ideal for tyre wear. He's on the hard, so it's not too bad. Oppenheim's tyres are actually double the age of Brumadinho's. So that is one thing to take into account while these guys are battling. But Verstappen and Spaghetti Chips are very close behind VRT Midnight and Foxy. In fact, We're going to have to leave Bruma and Oppenheim, although that has provided us with a lot of... Bruma's, in general, has provided us with a lot of entertainment so far this evening. We're going to go up to these drivers because they haven't had no screen time, and this is literally a battle for the podium. In fact, a battle for second, and I think Rafa's just run away with the lead here. He has so much pace compared to everyone else around all of the tracks, it seems, because he's going to get another win, adding to his run. He has 2 wins so far in RLH. He has he's got 5 podiums though, and he's about to make it 3 wins and 6 podiums. Although I don't want to speak too soon because Curse of the Commentator is rife with me. I can tell you that. I mean, you only have to go back as far as last race to see the Curse of the Commentator in full force. But VRT Midnight is close behind Foxy Dude. Spag is close behind Midnight. But as we go along the straight, Foxy Dude still doing his aggressive weaving, trying to break up that toe. Midnight took a sniff to the inside, but he just isn't going to be able to cut it close enough and get that move done. Midnight might try and go for a switch back here on Foxy Dude. I don't think so. We're going to get up the telemetry though, so we can see their speed and ERS in comparison to each other. Heading along this straight then, it looks like quite the DRS train. We're going to go up to Midnight at the top here as we're going to turn 11. Bit of weaving there from the Torosso, just trying to find somewhere to squeeze through. He's just not quite close enough. On the exit of turn 11, up the hill towards turn 12, Spaghetti Chips and Verstappen are side by side. Down the inside goes Spaghetti Chips though, and he's just about able to defend from the McLaren. Heading through turn 13 and now already at turn 14, it looks like. Under braking, I think there's just not really anywhere to make an overtake there as Verstappen has actually run wide and Spag is right up the chuff of Midnight here. So he's just outside the podium positions now, although he might be able to make it up in a lap or so's time. We'll have to wait and see what happens at the end of lap 21, going into lap 22, into turn 1 then. Midnight is right up the backside of that Mercedes, just 2 tenths between them, heading through turns... heading towards turn 3, 4 and 5. Here we go then, bit of a corner cut there. You've got to eat the curves here. They're very flat, so they're not going to upset your car too much. So as long as you don't cut it a bit too much while adding power, otherwise you'll get a spinnerino going. Semmer's got back past Brumadinho. I didn't even realise that tussle was still going on, to be fair. There's a lot going on. Brimmer's just managed to find himself in all the action this evening. Lucky him, but I think he's had enough screen time so far because this is the battle for second place into turn 8 then. Midnight is just a bit too far off along the straight. He just doesn't have enough speed on the exit of turn 6 through 7 to really catch up to that Mercedes, even with the assistance of ERS and DRS. But anyway, heading through turn 10 then, on the exit of turn 11. Let's see where these drivers are. It looks like Midnight trying to find somewhere through here. He's just had to back off a bit from Foxy. He was close, but not quite close enough to make a move then. Spaghetti Chips is still close behind Midnight. As that was a bit of oversteer there for Spaghetti Chips, and that's going to cost him the position there to the McLaren. Kind of missed that on the cameras, but yeah, that was not ideal for the Williams driver, and it's cost him the position, and it's down to 5th for Spaghetti Chips. Heading along the straight then, Foxy Dude is in 2nd, but Midnight is closing up in 3rd. He's got the DRS, he's going to move to the inside for turn 1. Can he get the position? Under braking we go then, and it looks like he's just about got it. Yes, he has. And there we go. That is 2nd place for Midnight, but Foxy Dude is not going to let that one go too easily. Through turns 3, 4 and 5. Already at turn 6 then. Foxy Dude is in 3rd place now. Good move there from Midnight. 5 laps to go though. We haven't had any rain, and I don't think we are going to have any rain. I think that was just an unfortunate overcast conditions. The track temperatures won't be as hot as they would have been. I'm not sure if that's a blessing or a curse for the drivers though. Have to ask them about that, or if it really affects them, to be honest. But anyway, getting back to the race, Spaghetti Chips is going to try and get back to where he was earlier. Yomba, not to forget, he's on mediums. So is King David, as Oppenheim and Bruma still battling. I just don't know what's going on with those guys. It's just excellent battles from all round from them. all round, all evening to be fair. 7th managing to spread that gap. But I think these drivers are just a little bit more aggressive than the drivers at the top because they've got a lot more to play for. Right now, if Bruma can overtake Oppenheimer, I think he'll get double the points he'll get right now. So that's probably why he's being so aggressive. But remember, time penalties actually not been as big of a factor around here as I thought. I thought there'd be a lot more penalties. As I say that, lots of oversteer for Bruma there. That could have been very bad, but he managed to catch it just before it was too late. But yeah, I'm surprised around France that there haven't been more extension penalties just because of the nature of the track, how it's so easy to cut the corners. If I was driving, it'd be like a rally stage, cut everything I can without going too far. But that is also me, isn't it, I suppose, and here I am in the commentary box, so you make your own decision about that. But yeah, just 4 laps to go then. Foxy Dude is... oh my gosh, what happened there? Foxy Dude is close behind Midnight. But can Verstappen or Spag get the podium? That is what we are racing for right now. Of course, it would be nice to get the extra 3 points from finishing second instead of third. But we'll have to wait and see what these drivers can pull out of the bag. I think one way which F1 needs to change is to bring the championship closer together. Change the point scoring system so that the drivers, it's like 10 points for a win, 9 for second. Because then, although that might make it a bit more boring actually, because then there'll be less to play for when trying to make overtakes and stuff. But then of course it would make the championships a lot closer and each point count even more. So it'd be a bit of a balancing game. I'm not quite sure, but Foxy did have a sniff down the inside of Midnight. Just not quite close enough to make a move there though. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for Midnight. Got to get on with some biology homework after this, so that's good. Here we go then, Foxy Dude. Close behind VRT Midnight. He just can't catch up with 3 laps to go. It is going to be close at the line. I know, we know that much. Just how close will it be is the question as we go through the chicane of turns 8 and 9. It's all a question of who's going to finish second and who's going to finish on the podium. That is that's the real question, because here we go. Foxy Dude down the inside into turn 11. He's got it. Can he keep it? No, he can't. Midnight just had a little bit more pace, taking the karting line instead. They managed to block off the Mercedes. Heading through turn 13 then. Is of course flat out through there. Verstappen's going to try and get in on the action. Spaghetti Chips is a bit further behind as Verstappen's going to try and take a peek down the inside of the Mercedes. No, he just can't quite get close enough. Spaghetti Chips trying to catch up, and that was quite the extension of track limits for the Mercedes. And they've all got DRS heading towards turn 1 then. Can Verstappen overtake Foxy Dude? No, he can't. He's just not quite close enough in the closing stages of the race. Actually, 3 laps to go this time. Spaghetti Chips has run wide of the exit of turn 10. That's going to cost him a lot of time. That might even put him outside of a second. That is not good at these closing stages when you need all the DRS you can get. It looks like there's... no, I don't know what that was. It might have just been some weird fluff the screen puts on. The game does in the screen for some reason. But anyway, Foxy Dude and Midnight, they're close. But who's even closer is Verstappen and Foxy Dude. Just a couple tenths of a second between them. Spaghetti Chips was within DRS range at the start of the straight, or at the detection zone, but he isn't in DRS range anymore. He's a second out now after his mistake at turn 2, which is really hampering his ability, and it's unlikely he's going to finish on the podium now, although he might be able to catch up if this battle up ahead of him can slow everyone down. Midnight's actually on 5 lap older tyres than everyone behind him, so that's quite impressive from him. Him and Oppenheimer pitted on the same lap, and that might it's quite impressive from him to be able to defend with tyres that are so much older, although these tyres, they have a much flatter degradation curve, I think. Heading through turn 13 then, can we see a move from Foxy Dude or Midnight or Verstappen? Why would Midnight make a move? There's no one in front of him to overtake unless he can do a 10-second dive bomb. I don't think we're going to be able to see anything like that. anytime soon. Although, to be fair, it's not too hard to cut the corners here, although you would probably get disqualified if you just cut out the whole first sector, I think. But anyway, turn 1 and 2 was the scene of quite a lot of evasive manoeuvres in, I think it was 2017 or 2018. Actually, 2018. It's only been on the calendar for 2 years, 2 seasons, maybe 3. Not entirely sure about that, actually. But anyway, we get the classic helicopter camera angle along the Mistral straight. The helicopter can't even keep up with the drivers. That's how fast they're rocketing along here, though. 1.5 laps to go, actually. Foxy's going to take a look past Midnight as we go into the Mistral chicane. He's not going to be able to make the move, though. Verstappen, we'll watch this on board with him. In fact, no, we won't. We'll go up to Foxy again because heading into turn 10, we might be able to make a move. We're going to get our telemetry up again because Foxy is out of an ERS, and that's going to really hamper his ability to make an overtake. But so are all of the drivers, really. They've all got very limited overtake juice, is one thing you can call it, I suppose. But here we go, heading along the straight then. What kind of a lap, or what kind of lap time can we get in the final lap for the final lap of the race? Of course, Midnight's actually catching up to Rafa, unless Rafa's slowing down a bit. Of course, he can relax now. It's the final lap of the race. But these drivers are the last people who can relax, and it doesn't look like Foxy is going to activate his DRS. No, he has, actually. I think he might have forgotten about it for a moment. No, it just looks weird on the Mercedes. That's all. Heading through turn 2 then, Foxy must be getting desperate, but so must Verstappen and Spag. Spag's quite far back. You just can't nail that first couple of turns. Those first couple of turns, I should say. Through turn 5 then, into turn 6. It's all about the Mistral straight right now. This is one of their lost opportunities to make an overtake, because if they can't do it by turn 11, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Here we go then, along the Mistral straight for the last time this evening. Can Foxy try and overtake VRT Midnight? He's half a second off. He's got DRS, he's got ERS, he's got the slipstream. Can he make the move? He's going to move to the inside. Yes, he will. Into turn 8, they're side by side. Can Foxy get the position? Midnight's run deep, try and defend. Foxy and Verstappen are right up each other's chuffs. Can Verstappen get past Foxy? Foxy is going to move to the outside of Midnight. This is not a good lap for the Toro Rosso driver as they go to turn 10 side by side. Verstappen might be able to try and capitalise on this move between those two. The defensive speed coming from Midnight. Foxy is into second place. He's down into third though because Verstappen is overtaking Foxy Foxy all the way down into fourth then. Heading towards the line then. Can Verstappen overtake VRT Midnight as Spaghetti Chips goes into the back of Foxy goes into the back of Verstappen, and Spaghetti Chips is just a couple tenths a second behind Foxy as we go through turn 14 for the final time this evening. The RLH Rafa takes a checkered flag, but Spaghetti Chips is going to send it down the inside of Foxy to take fourth position here this evening at Circuit de Paul Ricard going along the straight. Then VRT Midnight's going to finish in third. In fact, he's going to finish in fifth due to penalties. Now, but Spaghetti Chips and Foxy up onto the podiums as Verstappen has got time penalties as well. What an intense finish to the race then. Oh my goodness, Spaghetti Chips and the Foxy just 0.2 of a second between them. Spag pips Foxy to the post there for second on the final turn as we just see Sem go through it. Oh, that was intense, that last lap. No crashes actually this evening, no DNS as Sem DNS but off the line, so it doesn't really finish. So he has actually finished. It's not a DNF. Here comes Bruma then. He's 6.9 seconds off the person in front of him. Bruno has got penalties. Has he got enough for Shimasi to get past? I don't know, but that is the end of the race as we see Sem's car to the inside there. Number 13, the Williams of Shimasi. The Williams, the Haas. Oh my goodness. But what a race that was, and we're about to see those top 3 finishers on the podium. It's going to be Rafa on the top step today, flanked by Spaghetti Chips and LR Foxy Dude at 101. And that's going to mean that Rafa extends his championship lead at an even more exponential rate to what he was already doing it at. So that's impressive from him, I suppose. Well, I suppose that is impressive from him. He's got so much pace in the league, and he's already left the session, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get an interview out of him. But the finishing order, it's going to be Rafa, RLT Rafa, Spaghetti Chips, LR Foxy 101, Verstappen RB33, VRT Midnight, the Line, and Sen 12 2004, Oppenheimer, John Bruma, King David 1, and Shimasi, followed by Rob Ford. Rob Ford running off the grid, and with 0 time penalties. Zero time penalties, lots of time penalties from everyone. No DNFs though. That's always that's quite interesting actually. Just go up to Rafa then. See if we can invite him to the party. Dun, 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 dun. That is just such a good song, you have to admit. Can I invite him to the party from there? Oh my goodness, why have I never thought of that before? That is genius. Anyway, we'll go down to Spaghetti Chips and Foxy Dude. That's Spag. Where's Foxy Dude? I'm pretty sure I have him as a friend. I'll invite Foxy Dude as well through searching then. That's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, I don't have him as a friend for some reason, it looks like. There we go. There is Spaghetti Chips. But wait a second. The game is glitching. Here we go. Spaghetti Chips, how was that race for you?
Well, for me, it was very enjoyable, but I think you should go to Rafa first.
Yeah, Rafa. Didn't know if he was going to join the party, but here we go. Rafa, you won the race. How do you feel about that? Because you had just so much pace around here tonight.
Yeah. I mean, always nice to win, I guess. Yeah. I pretty much won the race at the start, I'd say, because I don't know what happened to Lenny. I jumped him at the start and then basically he fell back like a lot, so yeah. I had like quite a huge gap to the next medium runner already and just pretty much ran away from that point onwards.
Yeah, there's quite a flawless race from you, and you just had nearly a 10-second lead at the end of that race. But yeah, I think we'll go on to the next podium finisher then. Spag, just about pipping Foxy Dude to the post at the final turn there on the final lap. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I had a bit of a grudge just before because Foxy said some words to me in a few chats. And I have a feeling that, well, I just needed to beat him, otherwise he'd kind of show off. So I needed to get him somewhere. So the last lap, final corner, best way to annoy him. So that was nice. I had a really good race. Me and Verstappen were in a party. We were, after the race, we just like, what a race that was. It was absolutely fantastic, from especially second down to fifth. That DRS train was magnificent. GG for Rafa for the win. You absolute goat. I don't know how you do it. My start was absolutely shocking. I don't know why. I think I just made sure I didn't get damage. But yeah, P2, 18 points on the table. Not too bad.
Yeah, and finally we'll go on to you, Foxy. Then, how do you feel about that race?
Well, to be fair, I think I might have had, off the line, I think my start was a bit worse than Spag's, but I saw like Spag had a moment on the exit of turn 2, which allowed me to get through. Rest of the time, I just sort of just about had the pace to keep him behind. After the stops, I got a little gap, and then the DRS train came along. Spag's, it was an audacious dive at the final corner and I left room. It was a good overtake in the end. I mainly thought he had a penalty, but oh well, it was a great race.
Well then, I'm just going to have a quick look at that comment. Congrats to the podium drivers, and well, you're pronouncing my name well enough from Oppenheim there. Of course, I'm doubting myself. I think Spag knows what I'm talking about. The OE in Dutch. Wait, is there another comment as well? Spun 2 times, FFS from Sem. Unfortunate for him, but is there anything you guys want to add?
GG's.
Alright then. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race, because I certainly did, even with so few drivers. But anyway, I will see you next time.